Plasma agriculture. A new method of farming and agriculture through the use of the new Keshe plasma science and technology. Farming. Virus processing protects the life of farm animals by processing away the energy packages called viruses. Increase in fishery and farming products. Create the optimal conditions for farming to thrive. Reduction in growth time. The plants grow faster and stronger. Reduction in harvesting time. The earlier maturity time for harvest allows farmers multiple harvests per season. Extension of the shelf life of agricultural products. Increase in grain protein content without interfering with seed genes. Environment. Reduction of chemical agriculture inputs. No more fertilizers or pesticides. Progressive reduction of land nitrites and chemical contaminants clean and restore the environment. Decontamination of agricultural water from poison and metals. Health through food. Reduction in the use of chemical fertilizers or antibiotics in farming practices. Food nutrients in the crops are kept without the use of genetic modification. Improved health for people and environment. Plasma culture. Using the Keshe plasma science and technology, the environment creates and provides to the plants exactly what and how much they need to prosper. Reduction in use of groundwater in agricultural systems. As the energy is absorbed from the environment, a plant does not need that much water to create its own food and energy to grow. Greater crop tolerance to temperature variation. The possibility to grow crops in any climate at any time of the year. Non-GMO. Use of the newly discovered natural state of matter known as GAN's plasma water. Allow the natural growth and development of agricultural products. Use of non-GMO agriculture process, proven through governmental tests. Financial security for farmers. Simplify the methods and processes requiring less effort from farmers. More than 30% increase in crop yields. Increase in income for farmers. Global change. Eliminate famine worldwide. Increase national and global food security. Contact us. Visit our website for the brochure in your language.
Welcome everyone to the 272nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 18th, 2019. This is a broadcast from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute and is part of the public teachings in English. I'll be your host, Rick Cramen, today, as in the previous Knowledge Seekers workshops. And as in the previous workshops, we will also be joined with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's eager to get started with today's workshop. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to go for another round
Yes,
here?
yes. Thank you very much. Good day, good morning, good afternoon to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these knowledge seekers series of workshops. We have started a new cycle of teaching, and in this process of teaching, we learn a lot and we teach a lot. And in so many ways, it is part of the progressive understanding of the totality which we have set out to start some decades ago, and be more or less reaching the pivotal point of all the teachings. These teachings are more or less coming to the natural conclusion, and in this process of all the teachings we've done, we have taught everything from the matter state, from the plasma state, and in the process of understanding more, we came to understand the process of working of a plasma condition, which we call the soul of the man, the same as the soul of the planet. We hear the stars and the planets and the human body and all the animals. They all have a heartbeat, and that heartbeat is the manifestation and confirmation of the life of physical life, the physicality. But the soul of the man has a heartbeat too. The soul of the man, in so many ways, in its operation, is no different than the soul, the structure of the solar star. What is the purpose of this beat? What is this purpose of life? A life within a life, which through its manifestation leads to confirmation of creation, and in a way collective, or a collection of the work of fields together. Whichever we look, whatever we look, all the works of the universe is exactly the same. It's just how you positioned and how you position something that it leads to that point. In life of man, there is a problem between the two heartbeats. The heartbeat of the soul of the man and the heartbeat of the physicality of the man. Planet and the stars usually have a one heartbeat. In some cases, be fine too. In some cases, the stars and they're what we call twin sisters, collectively one heartbeat responds to the other. And this is how the strength of the fields of the stars tune to each other with the heartbeat of their souls. As is the same when the heartbeat of the physicality of the man tunes with the heartbeat of the soul of the man. If man understands this, man will come to one thing, which is being the prime objective of all the teachings, which is peace. When the heartbeat of the man and the heartbeat of the soul of the man match and work together, The physicality of the man finds peace in any dimensions in the universe. In so many ways, there's always a dimension of physicality for confirmation of the existence of one to the other. There is always a need to understand this. Why man has failed to conquer the space is because man has not understood the reality and the fact about this work of the universe. In so many ways, in the literature of the man in the past times, you have spoken about Adam and Eve. You have spoken about how Eve made Adam, or how Adam made Eve. One gave the existence of physicality, and one, through that existence, confirmed the confirmation of the soul of the other. We always look what Adam gave, but we don't look that what Adam gave was to confirm his own existence, his own love, to confirm the dimension of the physicality. Otherwise, it would have been the essence of the work of the universe without dimension. In a way, if you look at it, the Creator wanted to confirm his own creation and his own existence. And the man was told the story, but at that time man could not understand. In the life of the human race, man has separated the two, and this is why man cannot find peace within himself and within the society of the mankind. When mankind reaches the point that the totality of the soul of the man and totality of the soul of the earth work in harmony as one heartbeat, then the physicality of the man will become part of and works the same. And man shall find peace, and then man will join the universal family. This is very harsh for a lot of people to understand. But in so many ways, this will unravel itself in the coming time. Man will come to understand that it's him who is holding himself back from the knowledge of the universe, from the peace of universe. And through this, man finds the dilemma of justification of physicality in every means and dimension. Today's knowledge seeking is about seeking for peace, and not seeking for the knowledge of making reactors or space or gases. Mankind would not be able to reach the ultimate goal unless man finds peace with himself. Unless man finds peace with his own creator, which in so many ways man looks into creation of the God, or whatever name put on it, but he was created from the interaction of the fields of his own star. And then a star with his own galaxies and the dimension of the universe. But what we need to understand is, how can we take man now to the dimension that without much effort man can enter the realm of the universal community through the peace with himself. In fact, it's the greed of the man wanting more which has stopped the man to become part of. Whatever you give the man is not enough. Because he always strives to have more, and in the process of having more, he strives to kill other animals, other things, other people's soul, just to have, to possess. And this is what I've said many times in all the teachings. Detachment is the essence of existence and essence of peace. Detachment not from the dimensions of life, but detachments from in harming the others for you to survive. In so many ways, the peace has to start within the physical structure of the man, his soul, the heartbeat of his soul, and the heartbeat of his physicality. Man knows this, but never understood. We see it through our physical life. We race with the heartbeat of the young child. And as we come to the time of reaching the point of achievement to tune with our soul, we reach the point of old age. The heartbeat tunes to the heartbeat of the soul. And at the point of the separation of the two heartbeat beat as one. And this is the time the physicality of the man in his dimension of his soul separates from its structure, and the soul of the man with the heartbeat of the physicality take the flight of the freedom. Many people cry they want to achieve peace, but they don't understand the structure of the peace. The reason I brought this teaching forward is because in one of the private teaching, due to interaction of the soul of the man, we released the knowledge which was not supposed to be released to the man. But after a couple of weeks of deliberation, we have made a decision. As in that teaching, we asked the teaching to be erased, but the knowledge has already been shared with a number of the knowledge seekers. We share this knowledge in public today. If man understands this, then man will enter what you call in your languages the gate of heaven. The gate of heaven is finding peace and nothing else. In so many ways, when the eye of the physicality opens into the eye of the universe, you do not need more than one eye to see the totality. The structure of the body of the man with two eyes is the elaboration of his physical work, one of the soul and one of the physicality. In so many ways, when man understands why he has two sections in his brain, why everything is in two pieces, and why the totality of the two work together to create a dimension of the soul of the man, then man will understand that the peace comes with the interaction of the physical soul of the man as part of the heartbeat of the man. Why do we have that heartbeat right across the whole physical structure of the man? Because it's there to, in so many languages, as you call it in a man's word, unify. The heartbeat of a man is not just a noise. The heartbeat of the man is to homogenize all the strength of all the sub-souls of the man from every cell. Maybe you understand now more. In so many ways, when you have a star and it beats, it homogenizes all the strength that it can carry and no more. And that heartbeat shows what it can, what it possesses, what it's made of. It's its signature. It's the signature of its existence. It's the signature of the strength of the fields which it carries and no more. When you speak on the microphone, what you say is the strength of what you carry, the information and you want to give. When you send certain frequencies of noise, is that what you want to send? That's what the capability is. So it's the same with the heartbeat of the soul of the man on the planet. Every heartbeat dictates the strength, the position of the strength, and in what capability it can work within. In one of the ways that the body of the man has managed to interact with the soul of the man, and in a way, in the past, we have called it the third eye. What is the truth about the third eye? Is there a confirmation that it exists? Or is it in fact the eye of the soul of the man? As man could not understand, the soul of the man is within the physicality of the man. Now that we know, and we know the two eyes of the man are the eyes of the physicality, so the soul of the man has to have the same. The eye, which at the point of interface sees the same as the man, and what it sees, it can share with the physicality at the rate of the same heartbeat. What does this mean? Many of you know that when you are in the position of the physical rest, you call it, you enter the land of dreams. And you see with the physical eye, but in fact, there is no tangibility of physicality. In one of the recent teachings, we open this and we see it as obligation to be opened up to the future point. As I said, when we share with one, we share with a lot. We did not want to share this, but as part of the teaching, it was released. So we bring the same position. If you look at the eye of the man, and if you put the skull of the man, where sits the soul of the man? In so many ways, when the fields of the soul of the man enters through the specific position, like the dimension of the soul of the man, to enter into the dimensions of universal community, as it passes through the point, and as the two eyes of the man are built to have exactly twin stars in parallel, it leaves in interaction with these some of the information as it goes back and forth between the universal community and the soul of man. And what man sees in a dream is this information. This is why our dreams are physical vision to us. In fact, what we see as the information goes through, if I can draw this as an eye, and this as a soul, and this as a physicality of the man with his nose, as the information travels back and forth, in a way, in that spot, some of the information transfers to the dimension of physicality, and man sees it as a dream. This is the third eye of the man, you call it. But in fact, it's the eye of the soul of the man. And when you look into the skull of the man, there is a specific hole which accommodates for this. as the rest of the skull, the bone structure of the man, has blocked the rest for the dimension of the physicality of the brain of the man. Now many of you might understand what the third eye means, what it means to be the actual, the soul of the man. It's the way, the line of the communication of the physicality of the man picking up in a way like somebody standing on top of, in the communication between the two parts and listening to the conversation between the soul of the man and what do you call target subjects, the mom, the dad. But what is interesting, man only understands part of this communication which he has the knowledge of, not the other part which is belongs to the communication, understanding of the work of the soul of the man and its universal community. It has, and it lives, and it works through this way. There is no other way to explain it. For those of you who were looking to make the line of communication with the soul of universal community, we have given you the key today. If you are mature enough to understand. In reality, this is the soul of the universe, where the rib of the atom was the physicality of the man. Now, find any excuses or try to create a dimension to understand the work and the line of the communication between the soul of the man and its universe. When man understands this line of communication and become mature enough to understand this, man has entered the everlasting peace. Then he feeds through this channel the physicality of the man, and not for the man to kill to confirm existence in dimension of physicality. In the coming time, very soon, now that we have taken this path, mankind will mature into the dimension of universal community. The dimensions for unification of the man does not come through the sword or through the blame. It'll come through the peaceful actions of the nations that the soul of the totality elevates. I cannot say much, but it's time for the man to understand that the time of the completion of all the teachings of past thousands of years has arrived. And for man to understand how and where and the time for it has already been planned out. It is part of these teachings which we have to unveil the truth, the reality, and how we shall handle this. The whole operation of the work of the foundation, under disguise of the knowledge, was to create the condition for peace, for mankind to walk into it by itself and not by lying to himself as it's entered. not by the motion of the greed of the man to possess all, but by the humbleness that I missed due to my own greed. Greed to kill, greed to possess, greed to be part of the totality when the totality has already been given to the man. Now you understand why many times I have said, I'm ashamed to be in the rope of the man. My knowledge is for mankind to achieve peace, but somehow my knowledge has become ganses and nano-materials and stealing the soul of the others by attempt of possessing what you cannot possess unless you are truthful to your own heartbeat of the soul and heartbeat of the physicality. It does not matter what excuses you make around it to justify this. World peace will only come when man understands the totality of his own existence, the totality of the heartbeat of the physicality and the heartbeat of the soul of the man, and its connection to the heartbeat of the soul of the universal community. So if you understood in a simple language as your heartbeat here tunes up with the heartbeat of the soul of the man, then the same has to be tuned to the heartbeat of the soul of the universal. As none have physical dimension. Lying to the dimension of physicality would not lie to the soul of the man. Does not matter how you dress up the access to the soul of the universal community. All open shall be seen. We are not looking for man to answer and change ways. We are looking for the man to understand, to comprehend, and set up new ways. In a simple way, I explained about the work of the Chinese in the last teachings, that the government is creating the condition of peace and prosperity. And that is exactly what has been the problem. Creating the condition of peace for the soul of the man through the existence of the soul of physicality. That the two heartbeats work together in harmony. That through it, man finds access to universal community. As I said in the past teachings, to join the universal community, you do not need to take yourself to the space of above earth, above the solar system. What man has to understand is that he himself is part of universal community. He himself is part of this structure. He is already in a space. Why the man is looking to get into space. The earth is part of the universal community, so is the soul of the man. But man has in a way embedded himself, entangled himself into trying to get what he already has, and he has blinded himself into. Now, how do we progress? How do we achieve peace? We have always retaliated and we answer back to justify, where the wisdom comes from understanding and in a way working towards the final goal, to find peace with our souls. Justification does not come by retaliation. Justification does not come by trying to answer, to be there. Peace comes when one understands the totality. This is part of all these teachings. Find peace between the operation of this heartbeat of the physicality of the man and the heartbeat of the soul of the man. Then, as you have seen, when you put two reactors together and when their fields interact, like gravitational field and magnetical field, they will spread and create the new dimension of sphere of fields. So this is what it has to be. This is what mankind has to learn, that the heartbeat of the physicality of the man in conjunction and interaction with the heartbeat of the soul of the man will bring unanimity, collaboration, cooperation, tuning into the soul of the universal community. As I said in my teachings before, I have not come here to create another religion, another prophet, another gurus, another groups. I've come here to bring man into universal community. You do not need a plane, a jumbo jet, a spaceship, or a donkey. But you have to find and understand the operation of the soul of the physicality of the man and his existence within and with the heartbeat of the soul of the man. In so many ways, the eye of the man is the vision of the universal community. But man has chosen only to decipher what he sees in the dimension of physicality. What would be the future for mankind as of today? Mankind as a whole has to work. Find the dimension and the strength of the heartbeat of the soul of the man and the heartbeat of the soul of the physicality of the man. And as all the mankind and all existence on this planet are tuned to the strength of the amino acid, so the totality of the creation on this planet will find peace and harmony. And at that point, man will reach peace. Peace within his own physicality, peace between the soul of the man and the physicality of the man, which will diminish all illnesses at one instance, and then the balance between the heartbeat of the soul of the man with the heartbeat of the soul of the universal community. Then man does not need ever to leave this planet, as the dimension of the soul of universal community will take man to see the whole of the universe, even the soul of the creator. If you don't understand, maybe I can explain it another way. If you want to see the celebration of the Olympic, do you all need to go where the Olympic is? Or do you allow the cameras to bring celebration of unification of the sportsmen of this planet through the dimension of the vision of the cables to your home? So this shall be the process for mankind into the entry into the universal community, where the eye of the universal community will become the camera, become the portal to the vision of the man, to the totality of the universe. You've all been waiting for the spaceship, and you've all been waiting to travel with your souls in the depth of the universe. Now you know all you need to know is to find peace between the heartbeat of the man in the dimension of physicality and his soul. Because that's how the soul of the man has connection with the soul of the universal community. Then which Olympics or which event or which beautiful part of this universe would man like to see through the vision of the universal community? Can you close your microphone, please? This is what we're talking about, peace. Mankind has been waiting for the new technology to silence the guns, to silence the nuclear bombs, to silence those leaders who do wrong to their citizens and to the other men of this planet. In fact, the teaching of the peace has been the peace between the man in the dimension of soul of his physicality and the soul of his existence. Then man needs no arms, man needs nothing to defend. Man does not need home to kill for, to destroy for, and man does not need to kill to survive, but through understanding the operation of the heartbeat of the physicality of the man and the heartbeat of the soul of the man, he will tap into the universal energy that through it, through the soul of the man, will feed the heartbeat of the physicality, which through the distribution of his energy and his own strength feeds every cell of the body of the man, irrespective of dimension, the position, or space in the universe. I am the beginning. I am the end, where I know I came from the beginning to be the end, and by end I give confirmation to existence of the beginning. Now, fight with the greed to have more. Fight with the greed to possess more, even though you have uprooted your own base to possess. Not taken from you, but it's you who have denied the confirmation of the gift given to mankind. I write with the pen of my soul. You write with the pen of not understanding the totality of the knowledge. Man needs to mature to understand that peace in the language of universal community is to find balance and coherence and understanding between the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man in a dimension of the heartbeat of the two, which tunes itself to the heartbeat of the universal community. Then you all become instantaneously passengers of the universe without you ever leaving this planet. The way your soul does when the heartbeat, the tune changes at the time of the rest of the physicality. Man has never understood why man travels the depth of the universe through his soul at the time of the rest of the man, in most of the time. Because the heartbeat at the time of the rest changes its strength and does not tune to the dimension of the heartbeat of the soul of the man. And at that time, the soul of the man is free, flight, fantasy of his own interaction with the rest of universal community. This is what creation of the man has been based on. This is how you create taste in the lips and the tongue of the man. This is how you create emotion within the structure of the physicality of the man. And man has to understand this. Why do I smell different smells? Why do I taste different taste? Why do I have emotion in respect to different emotions? What is it? How does it create itself and how is it created? We had this understanding by the cup and the orange and the banana. Nobody understood how you transfer. The transfer comes to different strength, and when you create in your soul through the dimension of physicality, that strength, you get the taste of orange. We have not put the orange in the water, but you have created the dimension of the field of the orange and you get the taste of orange. So in your soul and in dimension of the emotion of physicality, create the taste of peace and you shall have peace. The guns will silence themselves. When there is no soldier to carry a gun, you can make a pile of them on the side of the road. No one will touch. Because you believe in trust of the totality of the peace of the. When you travel in Africa, you see on the side road of the streets, main roads or anywhere else, piles of everything. Melons, plant pots, no one touches. Because man understand the condition of the peace. I steal, I stolen from myself. You put the same plant pots and the same soil in the most advanced nations of the world, in the center of Liverpool, it will not be there in 1 second. This is what man has to mature itself to. Africans have matured to that level. But the white man in Liverpool still thinks he's too clever, stealing from the physicality and the soul of itself. Every second in European countries, number of cars are stolen. Which means you take from the soul of the man who has given so much to possess it, puts his life and soul in it. Not what watermelon gets touched on the streets of Accra. This is what I say. You have to create condition of peace for the dimension of the soul of the man. And then you understand. Peace within the soul created by the world leaders for the nations brings peace for the rest of humanity. I had the pleasure and the joy of walking through what you call Forbidden City of China very recently. And I had the pleasure to witness how the correct conduct of a nation, leaders create a peace within the nation. There were tens of thousands of people, as you ever been to Beijing and you walked to go to see the Forbidden City. People come from all walks of their life to see the beauty of the culture. In a crowded path, on top of the stairs, I noticed a backpack with a beautiful young girl wide open. iPad, laptop, with the zip open, and on the back, and she was busy with her phone. I said to the knowledge seeker, I said to tell her to close her bag, people will take. And I was made to shame. She says, no, the girl which had the backpack says, nobody touches anything here. The country is safe. I am safe. Nobody will put hand in my backpack. And then I enjoyed how peaceful the nation is. And at the same time, some times ago, I was standing on the central station of the Belgium train station to get the train to Ordine, which is in the south of Belgium. I saw a Belgian unzipping a Korean woman's backpack and putting his hand in. It's the nature of the nation. I said to him, what are you doing? He said, nothing to do with you, it's not yours, what I'm stealing, is it? A nation is thief by nature and its citizens. And a nation is at peace by its nature, that people have the confidence they can leave everything. Created of condition of peace has to come through the leaders of it, that gives the condition for peace for mankind. And then through that, man will find a peace through his heartbeat, through the heartbeat of the soul of the man, and man enters the universal community. Why does man has to wait till he dies, till achieves a freedom of physicality, where man can find that in the time of his physical existence, and then extend the life of the man to for everlasting. This is why we see the growth and prosperity of a nation, because the nation is becoming at peace with itself. The leaders of the nations have to create a condition that the citizens finds peace, that through it they find a peace between their souls and their physicality, and in totality mankind enters and becomes part of universal community, as the man already is citizen of a spaceship called Earth in the span of the universe. When you have misguided leaders, you end up with misguided citizens. And then you find every word to find justification for the misconduct of the physicality of the man, to confirm is my right to have. But the greed of the man has to understand the position of the soul of the man, the heartbeat of the man, and be content with achieving peace within the physical structure of the man. These are not sermons. These are the teaching which the man needs to enter universal community to find peace on this planet. When a number of you reach this point, that the magnosphere of your conduct of your souls in finding peace reaches the others of the same strength across this planet, then the planet shall glow. And with it will enlighten the rest of the soul of this physical existence. Then man enters peace for all creatures and not only for mankind. Through the soul of the man, you feed the soul of the plant, the fish, the lion, that through you they receive, they shall not kill. And this is the wisdom of the time. Tomorrow, for those of you who are in the path of believer of the Christ, bless his name, you celebrate that freedom. But through the forced separation of the physicality, the heartbeat of the man from his soul, we call the crucifixion of Christ. But if you look, it's a symbolic. The crucifixion of the man's soul in the dimension of his physicality. Doesn't matter what man, where from, which color, which race, which path of belief. There is a soul free to complete the first sphere of the totality of the peace for mankind, to kindle the light of peace on this planet. That soul has been here for a long time. Needs the correctness of conduct and peace with those who understand they can reach and they have access to it, and can create a condition for kindling the first light of peace on this planet. The burden of responsibility is huge, but the understanding of the truth needs the understanding of the truthness of the man to himself and no one else. It's been my job to bring the knowledge. And many world leaders have started listening and creating the condition for a spread of the knowledge. Many of you have earned and yearned to have, and now you understand where to go to. In so many ways, if I change my breathing, would I change my heartbeat that it tunes to my soul, that I can achieve the dimension of awareness and become part of the universal community? Or do I chase in the path of killing that I can never achieve that? Many of you remember, I have mentioned this many times. The man who think design of the bullet, and the man who fires the bullet, as they cause the suffering of the separation of the physicality of the man, of his heartbeat, and the heartbeat of his souls before reaching the natural process, we all have to pay for. So is those who betray, and they justify, try to justify. You betray a physicality from his soul, a whole lot have to pay. This shall be the same with one or the other. Does not need justification. The process of peace, in a way, has started as of today. Before starting of the day today, I have written many words. In so many ways, is to start the candle of the peace between the heartbeat of the man and the physicality dimension of the universal. And it's for the maturity of the totality to reach and receive, and not for one to think I am. You looked for spaceships, you looked for ganses, and you looked how to get your soul. Now I have given you the key to the freedom of the soul to reach the soul of universal community. And through that, the way you watch what's happening on this planet through the eye of physicality, through the eye of universal community, you will see the whole beauty of the creation, even the creator. It depends what you set your vision to. You want to set your vision to thieving and killing, then stay with the heartbeat of the man. You want to set your vision to seeing the soul of the creator, understand the connection between the heartbeat of the soul of physicality and the heartbeat of the soul of the man, which is already tuned to the soul of universal community. It's for man to choose the flight system. And that depends on the maturity of the man himself, nothing else. And this is what I've always said. Man will take from this knowledge according to his intelligence. Where the intelligence of the man comes from, do I want to be on the donkey of the man, or do I want to be in the dimension of the soul of the universe? You do not need no aircraft and no jumbo jet. Now you understand why the teaching of today is one of the most crucial teachings of the time. Because for the first time you understand how to tune the heartbeat of the man to harmonize with the beat of the soul of the man, that through it the soul of the man will take the physicality of the man to universal community. And that choice is yours and no one else. Contemplate and understand the teaching of today. Then you understand mankind has entered a new phase as of today. It's become harder and harder for mankind to find, to justify new ways of mass killing each other, as more and more have matured and become matured. But in so many ways, is mankind ready to become mature, to find peace, that through that peace it becomes the source of life for all those who exist on this planet. The difference with the Son of Man is is that it's made of the same amino acid as the rest of the creation of this planet. So it's already in Schumann. The sun cannot feed the soul of the man, as it has to interact with the heartbeat of the physicality, where the soul of the physicality of the man through the soul of the man is already made of the conversion. The beat of the soul of the sun is at much higher frequency, as you call it, or the strength, but the soul of the man has already downgraded to the level that it can reach every other creation on this planet. As the leaf, the fish, and the physicality of the man are all made of the same amino acid. I call it Mr. Cohen, and maybe you understand. It's a very nice Jewish name because it's very stingy. It likes to hold on to everything. But on the other hand, is a source of life for the totality, as it is at the strength of the totality. Now you understand how even the soul of the prophet of the past have shared with the soul of the. Now we extend that sharing to the totality of all the souls of the creation on this planet, and through it to the rest of the universe. The world peace is for the first time at the grassroots of the man. We raise through our souls the soul of the world leaders to change to that and rise to teach the mankind how to find a path through it to find peace on this planet, that the totality of the creation on this planet can enter the universal community to be part of, not to fly, to become part of, as you already are the passengers of the spaceship of death. You would like to confine your physicality into a smaller dimension. You'd like to live in a submarine. You're quite welcome. You'd like to live in a tin pot and call it a spaceship. You're quite welcome. You like to sentence yourself into a prison of space and time of yourself. You're quite welcome. We have given you the freedom of the universe. It's you who have chosen the prison of the earth. We still build factories for you to pay your bills because this is the condition of it. We still will build everything else that you all can survive on a physical dimension. But is this our purpose? Not really. Not mine. I have to become a shepherd to get the flock of the life on this planet in the right path. And in so many ways I'm tired. These unruly
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I think we lost your audio there. Still not hearing you, Mr. Keshe.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we lost the last minute or so there.
Yeah, I could hear you typing away. I heard you telling me you lost me, but you cannot hear me.
Okay.
Maybe the upload was not. What did you hear last?
Can someone remind me of what the last thing that that we heard from Mr. Keshe?
Yes, you had a sentence there saying, "In so many ways, I'm tired." Your last sentence was, "In so many ways, I'm tired," and then you dropped.
Ah, yes. Okay.
I'm back again. Can you tell me what you heard last?
Yeah, Flint just said that you were saying that you were tired, and that's when it faded out.
Yeah, you see, that's why I got tired.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, I think the computer knows when to choose his time. and, and, and the creator has the same problem. He says, do not tell them. In so many ways, we're tired of these unruly children called human race.
Does the creator push the restart button then?
We've done many times, it didn't work. In so many ways, today you've learned a new way to travel the depth of the universe without a spaceship. But you still want to fight to have your factories, we'll open the factory. Would that elevate more man, or would that put more man into the time of harshness of this physicality to stay longer? Something very strange is that when the man comes to the point of separation, he wants to stay longer. Why? For his physicality to abuse his soul more? Why? We don't understand when the time comes, we submit to it. That allows our soul to take to the dimension of universal community. In so many ways, mankind has a problem with the confirmation of its own existence. Mankind has a problem because he has never understood the twin life of the man. Mankind needs to be aware of what does it mean what do we want from this existence? Why can't we find peace? In so many ways, have we managed to find peace without actually working for it, to understand it? Do we want to reach that point of peace? Or are we just talkers? Or now that we have shown the way, would the man be mature enough to leave? What do we expect of this life for the man? Or have we chosen the path of denial, and we would like to say we are, and we possess, and we have, and in reality we possess none, we have none, and we are a bunch of hypocrites who claim that we want it, but in fact by not having it, we have a reason to waste more time to be in the dimension of the life on this planet. Many of you will have problem in understanding the totality. Many of you will have problem in developing to the next step. Many of you will have to come to understand the truth about your own physical structure. What I would like to take you is to show you how I have taught you in the past, and now maybe part of the teaching comes together. If you look at the skull of the man and his two eyes, you'll find out, going back to my old teachings, I said to you, get yourself and a stereo system to find the position of your soul. And this is the heartbeat of the soul of your physicality. If you look, this is the line, and somewhere here you find. In fact, the passage of the man, if you look, the nose of the man opening is like this. But the image of the interaction of the dimension of the physicality of the fields of the man goes the same way to interact. And this is why when this passes through the center of the, it's just, if you look at the skull of the man, the nose sits like this, and the eyes are like this, and the soul sits somewhere there. This is why the vision sees, the nose smells the dream, and the tongue speaks the language. You remember the star formation, and the free field plasma that all can take from. There's no difference in the teaching. This is why when you dream, you smell and taste and speak and you hear. Because it's a dimension of the soul as it goes, interacts with all. If you are looking for the third eye, that's the position of the physicality of the vision. If you're looking for the path of the soul, the transfer and the true third eye is where you find it. That's why some people through reading can collect energy, because it comes by the passage through the soul of the man, which feeds the physicality of the man. This is where your breathing passage sits, and this is exactly where your soul sits. This is the position of the soul, takes energy from the dimension of the gaseous part of this planet. This is why the nose is positioned there. This goes to feed the heart of the man. Once it's balanced its energy with the soul of the man. This is why the two heartbeats work together. Have you ever understood why you snore? Because the soul shuts down to the reality and it just wants to feed the physicality. Because cannot handle injustices. It's the psychosomatic reaction of the soul not accepting the condition. As the breathing passage, the nostril passes first to feed the soul, not the air to go to the lung, to feed the heartbeat of the man through energizing his physical dimensional motion of blood. The breathing of the man is the feeding of the soul of the man. Without it shall be no life. This is what all these teachings are about. This is what the totality of the knowledge of the man boils down to. Man has been the passenger of the universe for centuries without the jumbo jet and the shuttles and God knows spaceships. And the strange thing is that the man is building more and more machines to get the physicality in the open span of the universe, the more physically he gets involved in to confirm his physical existence. And lower he goes down the chute. Now, which spaceship do you want me to build for you? Non-tangibility of the physical systems, or tangibility of the aircraft and systems, or dimension of the unity and harmony between the heartbeat of the soul of the man and the heartbeat of the soul of physicality of the man, that in that process man finds, as is already tuned in the heartbeat of the universe, into the dimension of universal community. I have freed man from the shackles of physicality today to find peace with itself. But I bet all of you, first question you ask will be, how do we make the Ganses? Why that flight doesn't go and the rest? Means man is not mature yet. It's very much like you're sitting watching a scientific program that it gives you knowledge of whatever, and your little boy comes and says, Papa, can we go and play football? I watched enough with you, because he doesn't understand the knowledge you're receiving. That child is the physicality of the man. Does not understand. And is too attached with the ball called earth to play with. We're not teaching you religious teaching. We are teaching what you have missed in reality in the structure of your own life. If you remember, I mentioned this in a different way regarding the holy man who came to see us in Sensano, and I told him how he changes his breathing to feed his physicality. Now, when I explain the position of the soul of the man and the way the energy passes it, how the soul of the man feeds the physicality, I'm not changing anything. Now you have matured to understand. 4 years ago, we had the man. But even he did not know how he feeds himself for 21 days. He energizes the soul, that through the soul, through the harmony and shortening the breathing and tuning the soul of the physicality to the soul of the man, he feeds through the soul of physicality, the physical structure of the man through the heartbeat of the man. And as the heartbeat of the soul of the man is tuned with the heartbeat of the physicality, gives the essence of existence to every soul within every cell of the body of the man. Now you understand. Go and fight for homes and lands and cars and clothing. When would you fight for the freedom of the universe, to find peace within yourself? Man needs to mature. Then man will find peace. First within himself, and then within this planet, and then within the universal community. You already are passengers. You already live, but you're not aware of. You're already told the beauty of the creation, and how you can have everything, but you're still that little boy who wants to play with a ball. So play. I can rotate that ball and make you a spaceship. Or you can tune into your soul, and the soul of the man becomes that spaceship. It's taken 6,000 years to explain what I explained in past 60 minutes to mankind. And you're still fighting for the lands of Jerusalem and the walls of Mexico. One encaging itself and one encaging the others. But in fact, you're encaging the soul of the man. Something very strange for those of you who do not know, but you might know. Why does one nation wants to build a wall? It's just because the president of that nation has hand in the construction, and to profit by it is engaging the whole of his nation. And why another nation engages another part of his own nation is just because he has used abusive behavior to engage souls the way the founder of the man in that part set the structure. From today, the only wall and the only cage of the man shall be the comprehension and understanding of the man, of the work of his soul, of his heart, his physicality, and the soul, the heartbeat of the soul of his existence. Then you decide the span of the universe or the cage of the skull of the man. And within each, man has to find peace within himself and within the universe. You want to see magic? Find the heartbeat of your soul and find the heartbeat of your physicality, soul, and then you will see the magic. The universe will be your oyster, let alone the universe, or the cage of the eye of the man, to confirm the confirmation of his existence through the mission of physicality. Gather as much wealth as you like. There is no supermarkets, and kill as many as you like. There are no churches to reverse the dimension of punishment of the soul of the man in not understanding the elevation of the soul of the man itself. There is no punishment except creating distance to understanding of the. We've seen how abusive behavior changes scale, but in so many ways mankind will come very mature to it very soon. We impose sanctions on those nations who impose theft and robbery as part of their structure under disguise of the peace. Sanctions by the soul of their own nation's soul, not by no other nation. And the same goes for the mankind. Because from today, the soul of mankind is responsible, now that you understand, for the total souls of the creatures of this planet. Today is promised day. Because now we have fulfilled the promise. That you understand the totality. The Christians have been waiting for it, and the Jews and the Muslims, and the Buddhists and the rest. Now we have fulfilled the prophecy. From now on, it's in the hand of the man. The beauty of it is that this time you cannot put me on the cross.
You still there, Mr. Keshe? I think he may have dropped out. Thought the pause was a bit too long. I think, are you there, Mr. Keshe? Hello? I see your microphone working, Mr. Keshe, but it's not, I don't hear the sound coming through yet. Still not hearing you, Mr. Keshe. Still not hearing.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
I can hear you clearly. I think it's upload or the download on the net, which is not enough.
You might have to update your Zoom. Flint suggested that. There's also a new update for the software for your system as well, so that might help. No, you're breaking up. We can't hear you right now. Maybe it's just a bandwidth issue there. Still not hearing. Still not hearing. Sorry, Mr. Keshe, still not coming through. Okay, bear with us. We're still trying to reconnect with Mr. Keshe here.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there are people in the background playing, interfering with a lot of things.
That could be. The last we heard from you, it was the beauty of it is that you cannot put me on the cross. And then shortly
Yeah, you
after
put me
that,
on the cross. Yeah.
we couldn't hear from you again. So
So you put me on the cross.
Someone's trying to prove a point, perhaps.
Yes. They burned the castle, now they burn the other part. No, this is what you understand. As I said, you cannot put me on the cross because this time the cross is with you. You have to decide you want to turn right onto the cross at the junction to take to the dimension of universal community, or turn left at the cross to become and be imprisoned by the dimension of physicality. So you have to choose. It's your choice. Can you hear me now?
Clearly, yes, clearly.
Yes, clearly, okay. So now you know if you can go to the left or to the right. Now is the mankind who has reached the cross point, not the physicality.
You're saying mankind has reached the cross point, not the physicality?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You were saying that mankind is it mankind that's reached the cross
point to decide which way to go. Left or right? To mature his soul or to stay in a physical dimension? I do not know what you will choose for your soul. And I can see a lot. I saw somebody in the background writing something that do not do this and that. Can you see that, Rick?
In the Q&A, Spaceman.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Keshe? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I think there is a lot of people who do not want to be. Can you delete or stop this call, the Spaceman?
Okay, sure. He's making a lot of comments and
Yeah,
wants to tell everybody how important it is.
You
but,
do not. Yeah, we
sorry,
don't
we'll
know.
have to remove you.
Yeah, put him in this space. So, what we have to decide is to understand where and how we decide to where to do, what to do, and how to elevate ourselves. It is not the possibility, is the totality, which means we need to be where we decide to be and how we elevate our souls, in how we enter the new dimension, and in how we decide to take the what I call the dimension of the space travel. You're happy with the rockets which can take off and land as we've seen in the past week, or you would like to become and develop the spaceship, or you decide to travel with the dimension of your souls, or you want to travel with understanding of the need to travel. You can still have access to the totality in a way sitting in your front room. You have to decide in how mankind will progress. You have to decide in how mankind will go to the next step, where the mankind is you to be kind to the man which is you. No more and no less. In so many ways, is this guy still there or can you take him off? Rick?
No, he's no longer with us.
As he moved out. Thank you very much. What we want to understand is how we can progress and how we can develop technologies according to our own understanding. In how we want to go into the next dimensions of intellect and in the totality of understanding the knowledge of the universe. In so many ways, in the coming time, for those of you who want to be able to gather the knowledge of the universe, you soon will come to understand part of what you call the structure of the physicality of the brain of the man carries, like the way you carry the knowledge of life on this planet, the knowledge of life in the universe. And in so many ways, mankind will soon come to understand the totality of the knowledge is at its reach. It's the mankind who has to take the next step. To, in a way, as it was read a few weeks ago, how he is going to be kind to himself. Today's teaching is the cornerstone of the world peace on this planet. And that is for man to come to understand that from now on he is responsible for every soul created on this planet. Is not anymore me and I as the seed for generation and creation of the first unified soul has been set. In a way, the soul of the Adam and Eve, or the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man need to tune for them to be able to feed the totality of the creatures of this planet. This is why we chose the dimension of the physicality of them. Now you understand. You were proud to write to defend. Now you have a lot to think to be the mother of creation, the nation of this, including every citizens of it, be vertical or horizontal. How can the conduct of the children be right, other and righteousness? We cannot elevate. Depends on the maturity of any questions.
So would it be true, Mr. Keshe, that some souls can be elevated and some cannot?
The man is the decision maker. Nothing but the man himself.
And some want elevation and some don't, I guess you might say.
In a way, put it this way, how many times you've been to see mom and you have already matured, you're married, you have your own children maybe. Mom says, stay for a night. You say, no, 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 I have to go home. But in fact, you really want to stay with mom. Or you want to go home and play mature dad, but you're still attached to the home of the mom. How many times you've been home, mom says, stay for dinner, it's okay, you can stay with me, you can go home later. Which one to choose? Or you eat in both homes? A little with mom, and a little with wife, to keep both happy. And this is a dilemma. Wants to be a bird in both houses. It's not the chicken, and it's not, as we say, it's not the bird, and it's not the cow. Now the ball, how do you want to play? You can't blame no one, and you cannot tell me he hasn't taught us how, which gases we make, we need to make, and how, what's the mixture, and what ratio. The mixture is your heartbeat, and the speed of rotation is how fast you can get your head around it to understand the truth.
I like that one. That was very, very nice, Mr. Keshe. The speed of rotation is how fast you can get your head around it. Okay.
It is the way it is. We cannot do. You see, the mankind has chosen the wrong path of physicality. It's not mankind, it's the way the structure of the heartbeat of this planet has brought that. You know, it gives you so much that you get so much attached to it. What I said about the mother, you want to stay, that mother is the planet Earth. Gives you everything. The air, the food, the fish, everything else, pleasures of physicality. You choose. You get so attached that you want to stay with mom because you remember, at least here I can have something you can have. There is no more man to blame for peace. Not President Trump, and nor the president of so and so, and nor anything else. It's mankind who has to develop that space. And in so many ways, today is the conclusion of the teaching. You have the options. You have to decide. How many motors would you like me to have to lift your soul? And how many dynamic reactors with how many different gases you'd like me to mix for you? It's man who has to accept the dimension of his physicality and the strength of his soul. Nobody else from now on is in your pocket. what they say, tomorrow is a Good Friday. It's a good time for man to take into space. Any other question? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Okay, are there any questions with the panelists here? And I'll remind the attendees they can put their hand up virtually, and we can allow you to talk.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
It's Lisa here. I'd just like to ask a question about.
Would you like to tell us who you are, where you are from, as usual?
I'm Lisa from Australia, and I'm the Earth Council for Australia. And so I'd like to find out, please. They talk about the Schumann resonance of the planet. Is this the heartbeat of the planet? And they say that it's actually increasing dramatically at the moment. And does this mean that things are shifting for the planet as a whole? Maybe we need to bring up the Wikipedia of what the Schumann resonance is. I'm not sure if this is the heartbeat of the planet.
Okay, I'll produce that here, just a second.
I don't know if Mr. Keshe is not speaking there because he can't, not coming through.
Maybe he's in shock from your question. No, I think maybe he might have another connection problem there. And in the meantime, we can bring that up, as you should be able to see on your screen there now. So it says the Schumann resonances are a set of spectrum peaks in the extremely low frequency portion of the Earth's electromagnetic field spectrum. So Schumann resonances are global electromagnetic resonances generated and excited by lightning discharges in the cavity formed by the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. So basically it's the resonance structure of between the Earth's surface and the outer part of our atmosphere.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, okay. I hear you clearly. I think it's upload on my side which has got a problem today. We got to sort it out. As I said before to somebody some times ago, if I would have been the Mother Earth, with seeing what the children of this planet are doing to itself, to each other, and to this planet, you do not know how angry I would have been to get rid of the lot. So, if the heartbeat of the soul of this planet is increasing, it must be of the anger of what is people, what this creation is doing to itself. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
It's like a father sitting and watching his children beating the hell out of each other, and he has to sit there and watch. One point he gets angry and he'll try to get his blood pressure down, but he gets them stopped. You see, there are people who understand how to use abusive positions to create abusive conditions. And then we have the man who has to be mature enough to understand himself about the soul of himself. If the planet heartbeat is up, is the soul of the man in that position? Has he got the position to use it to elevate his own soul? Is this increased, as you say, with this increase, we find elevation of the soul of the physicality to become in harmony with the soul of the heartbeat of the soul of the man? Very simple. This planet is not just the rock and sand and the waters and the air. This planet is a living entity. He understands the feeling of we are part of it. In so many ways, maybe we can extend to what the beautiful Sadi says, which is on the entrance door of the United Nations in New York. It says, Bani Adam a'zai yekdigaran, means all the human body is part of the same body. Isn't it time to extend this? The universal community is part of the same. We extend the limitation to universe and the structure of universal community than human body. It all depends on the maturity of the man and how man understands the totality. As they say, I was spoken with the language of a child when I was a child. Now the man has matured to be spoken in the language of the man. But does the man wants to still play the childish game? That's a different question.
We have Klaus Dieter Bauer with his hand up here. Perhaps he could go ahead with the question, if that's okay, Mr. Keshe.
Let's see. If he's not trying to sell up one of his systems or tell us about his new technology.
Klaus, do you want to go ahead there? See, your microphone's open, but I'm not hearing any sound. This seems to be a phenomenon today. Can you try your microphone connection, Klaus? I heard a bit of something, but it wasn't a voice. Still trying to hear you there, Klaus. Some issue with the audio. Maybe you can try the audio settings in Zoom.
Mr. Keshe, while we're waiting for Klaus, maybe you could explain how the heartbeat is achieved. I know, funnily enough, Jim and I were actually listening to a very old knowledge seeker workshop that you were doing on how the heartbeat is achieved through the gravitational and magnetic fields. the difference of the two.
We're not hearing you right now, Mr. Keshe. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Still trying to hear you. Now we hear you.
I'm just giving up today. God doesn't want me to teach, so we say goodbye, good night, God bless you. You had 2 hours and 15 minutes. That was more than the whole creation for 6 million years. Can you hear me?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, Lisa asked about if I can explain about the heartbeat of the earth. In part of the teachings I have explained this, is in so many ways, is when the strength of the magnetic field and gravitational field matures into the same strength. And it's just as it goes and it crosses each other. And it has other dimensions which interfere with it. It's part of the magnetosphere of itself in the dimension of its gravitational sphere of itself. It's very much the noise of the heartbeat of the earth comes from the dimension of or the structure of the physical boundary of the planet. It's very much, if you don't have a skull, you cannot hear the heartbeat, but it's there. It's the reflection of the two fields when they balance against each other. And within the dome of the matter state of it, it creates the reflection of the balance of the two fields. One is what is pulling and one is giving out. As you read the book number 1, he explains about how the surface of the planet is dictated when the balance between the field's gravitational magnetic field in the matter state is achieved. So the heartbeat is part of that structure. When you knock on something, you can hear a voice. If there is nothing to knock on, there is no noise. But still the two fields can interact. Depends at what strength you're listening to and how far you are from the point of it. You cannot hear my heartbeat standing 10 kilometers away. You can hear my heartbeat when you put something on my heart, or you can hear through a system where you're putting your head against my head. And then you can elevate a lot of people this way. You can transfer knowledge. Is something which is under discussion. The new systems which will be developed, or partially it's been developed, is going to go in a very near future. It was discussed in part of the manufacturing of the new industrial zones which is getting set up, that we are developing technologies. Actually it's mainly developed years ago, but we have to teach you to do it that you can understand it. Is that we have a problem. For example, when, for example, you're an Englishman and you come to China and you don't speak the language, you don't understand the customs, you need to go through, maybe learn a few words and then whatever, and then what you show as the sign of good is bad and what you want to say something means something else. There is a structure, as now you can buy, let's say, the dictionary of the words. There is a process we call memory of the dimension, which means we can download this in the understanding of the totality of transfer of energy, the way we did with the orange into the apple, into the water. Transfer the whole intellect of one language and one knowledge with all its emotion in seconds into the brain of the man. So when you come from England to China, you don't need a translator, because you can receive the knowledge in a way that is totally with all its emotion, but you still speak the language, but you understand it in the emotion of the language and in the emotion of your own language. These are the new plasma transfer technologies which is coming. The Keshe Foundation has restructured because of the conflict in so many ways as of recent past. We call it the GANS technology, because now a lot of people understand the work of the GANS. We don't use the plasma term. So you will see a lot of the factories of the Keshe Foundation will call Keshe GANS Industries. This way we create a new dimension and we walk away from the plasma because it has created too much confusion. So in this process, what you will find is that we work in the dimension that we transfer the knowledge with the total essence of the culture into the what we call the soul of the man, or the language of the understanding of the physicality of the man. This technology is, if you understand, if you can do with the orange, you can do the same with banana. So if the orange is the culture, strength of the soul of the physicality of the man, the banana will be the culture, the strength of understanding the totality of a culture of the man of the universe. So once we open this dimension to mankind, it means that learning of culture, of the essence of the communication of the soul will become unified. Then, in so many ways, answers a question which I put to you many times, maybe now you understand. In what language do the babies talk to each other that they all understand each other? In that process, now we do the same understanding of the technology transfer. This is what we said, the patterns are useless, because when I transfer the totality of the knowledge of the man receives it instantaneously. How long did it take you to transfer the taste, the essence, the feeling, the emotion of the orange in the water you drank? The bottle of water is the existence of the soul of the man, or you can still download it into the physicality. The horizon of understanding depends on the intelligence of the listener. Then, in this process, we need to understand the totality. Then, in this process, we need to return to the point of salvation. And what is the salvation?
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, Rick. Can you hear me now? This is Klaus.
Yes, go ahead, Klaus.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, I agree totally with you by the Schumann resonance, by the heartbeat, and what
I don't need you.
Please?
Sorry, what's that, Mr. Keshe?
I say I totally
Hello?
agree.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Yeah, I dropped off. You said what? You agree with me totally?
Totally, yes.
Yeah.
Schumann resonance is, yes, we see it also. This is the capacitor between the atmosphere and the Earth's ground, and the lightnings. We have nearly 50 lightnings per second that nears it. But what we see is the same as you. The stress from the Earth, from Mother Earth, is you feel it in the heartbeat. And as you said, when we are in stress, the heartbeat is in another rhythm. And yes, we work very hard in this moment with 7.8 hertz, and in the night with 3.6 hertz. And this is very, very good. I stand now.
You see, let me explain to you. You say you work during the day with 7.8 and at night at 3.8. Why?
6.
3.6. Why?
What we see is only a part of this frequency spectrum, what we work.
No. What I'm trying to ask another question. Why do you see the difference between day and night?
This is not a difference. 3.6 is theta hertz. Is very deep sleep state for us, and so we can refresh us. And
yes, but what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to learn from you, as you are a knowledge seeker, the same as me, is you said you get it at 7 point something during the day, yes, and 3.6 at night. Why? Is it the same with the Earth?
It's the same like the Earth, yes. And I stand now.
Yeah, why? Why?
Okay.
What's the reason?
Is like an octave.
No. Explain to us scientifically why you have a difference between day and night. Is the only common denominator the field strength of the sun, which rises?
Not only the field of the sun, the interaction between the fields from the sun, from the moon.
That's what you call it. I call it that. You call it, because it doesn't happen at night, happens during the day. Is the pressure, which just increases our heartbeat.
It's the field pressure. Means,
yes, so now you understand.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what you put on it. It's the same with the soul of the man. Do you want to increase the heartbeat of it, or you want to reduce the heartbeat of it?
Correct.
So it should be understandable. We are all the same. It's a macro and micro the same. So it confirms the soul of the man changes at night, and day you say it, and so does the soul of the planet.
You become, I think, it's my feeling, you become better interaction at night when the mass consciousness and all be quiet, and so we become more and good connection to our soul. For me, day and night is no difference. Since November, I'm very close with my being. And so there is no
question. But we are talking about another 6.9999999 billion people.
Yes.
And you think you might have, but not necessarily it does mean you have. Or maybe you have, we need to learn from you.
When you and I and other go this way, and the other can easily follow us, there is a way.
So it means...
So many ways.
Does it mean mankind is becoming to understand they can live a harmonious life? They're the ones at night. They're the ones at night will help the ones during the day on the other side.
We cannot command this. This is what we
can command this. This, of
for
course,
for me. I only for me. And when I be this, and when I radiate this, the other can go in interaction. This is my feeling. Only my feeling.
Thank you very much.
For me too. Thank you.
Very much.
But can discuss this on weekend.
Yeah, but it's all what you call it. You're in bits and bits. Maybe it's the problem with my receivers on my side.
It's no problem.
No, there's
Yeah.
a problem with the microphone, Klaus. It's breaking up and it's hard to hear a little bit.
Okay, thank you very much, class. Very
But
interesting.
I wish.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, Rick?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Keshe. Go ahead.
Okay. Are there any other questions? It seems that there is a problem with Zoom around the world.
Well, we can try Krasmir. He's got his hand up here. So go ahead, Krasmir. Give your...
Do we have anybody else new anywhere else? Do you see anybody else on any of the channels?
Well, we did have a question from Bente, but she's been a regular question asker. It had to do with the plants taking in CO2 at night, and actually is close to what you were just describing about the sun's action and so on. She was wondering why plants don't grow more in the winter than the summer if the sun is...
It depends where you are. On the equator, you have 3 harvests.
Well, she's saying though that the plants grow. She seems to think that the plants grow at night because that's when they take in the CO2. But the plants, grow in the daytime too, right? I mean, that's
day and night. Depends on when there is.
Do they take in the CO2 at night and then store it and then use it as part of the photosynthesis?
Story. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
This is an old story. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
The reality is what we have shown is we have, but put it this way, cultivation through GANs has shown the CO2 story is just a nonsense. It's the process of the conversion, availability of the energy. When you make your energy available, it grows day and night. And the more you do, the more you continuously keep in a constant atmospheric field strength, you create a growth in a beautiful way constantly. We had a beautiful picture recently from the, what do you call it, from one of the knowledge seekers, that if you keep a constant field strength and it fits into the structure of the soul of the plant, plants will grow as much as you like. And the question is, would the man will grow the same way? So now that we start creating so much atmospheric condition through GANs, use of GANs technology, as the plants grow now so freely, would now the man start growing, that the people and the farmers in these areas now in the next generation or next year will be another 2 inches taller? If it can happen to the planet, it can happen to the man. But it happens to the fish too. Would we see a new generation of man? We are not excluded, we are included. This is an inclusive technology. What do you say in English? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. And if those of you don't understand the terminology, one is a female duck, another one is a male duck. What is good for a male duck is good for the female duck. So if we give ganses and the fishes grow bigger, faster, and we give it to the plants to grow bigger, faster, what would be the effect on the generation of the man? Will we become all another 10 inches taller? Interesting, isn't it? Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So would that be a recipe that all the men, would that be a recipe for all the men that we won't see any short men anywhere anymore? We just put them in the farming zone and they grow up by 10 inches. This new knowledge tells us a lot of things. When we leave the dimension of atmospheric condition of this planet, would the spacesuits have any meaning? Because none of them will fit. You've grown up. Maybe the Jewish people had the right mentality about it. You know, a Jewish man, when he's 70, when he goes to buy a pair of shoes, he always buys one size bigger. Because if the foot grows at that age, he doesn't need to buy another one. He can save himself money. That's why when you see the Jewish guys walking on the street, their shoes goes plop, plop, plop. They have not grown to understand that at the age of 13, 15, your foot doesn't grow any bigger because they had to spend one size bigger when they were little. They still carry out the same mentality. But the man this time has really need to buy one size bigger. In the space he will grow. Any other question? Hello?
Yes, just having a look here and trying to see if anyone had their hand up or any of the panelists would like to go ahead with a question. It's pretty quiet, Mr. Keshe.
I know, people
Seems
now
to
they
happen.
found that. Yeah.
It happens when there's an important teaching. Usually there's a serene silence afterwards.
A lot of what we call soul searching. Now they're
Yeah.
trying to find the heartbeat of the soul.
Well, I was going to mention earlier when you mentioned heartbeat and so on, that normally when we hear our own heartbeat, it's pretty unusual. Like if you think about the today, going through the whole day that, or yesterday, let's say, how many times through the day have people listened, actually heard their own heartbeat, slowed down themselves enough to be able to hear it? Because normally it either has to be one of, two basic conditions: either the heart's really thumping loud from heavy exercise, or some kind of stimulation, a fear or something, and your heart's beating and you're scared or you're excited or something unusual. Or you have to get really quiet and go inside and actually sense and feel that pulse, which normally we're so overcome by all the different sensations and things, and our attention is focused on all the things we have to do through the day to get through the day, and so on. So now maybe those are two different things. Maybe one is the heartbeat and one is the actual pulse, and maybe there's a difference between those two. Or perhaps the pulse is more from the soul and the heartbeat is from the physicality. I'm not sure if we can reconcile that, or if it's just two different circumstances. One where you're quiet and go inside, and the other one where you're excited or mountain climbing or something, and your heart is thumping away and you can really feel it because it's obvious then. It's a similar thing to the ticking of my clock here. If I go, if I'm busy doing things, I don't hear the ticking of the clock. But if I slow down and just be totally present in the moment, all of a sudden it becomes tick tock, and tick, like there's almost an eternity in between each beat. So maybe you could comment on those ideas somewhat.
We hear our heartbeats because if you understand, is it because we bring the dimension of the physicality of the skull of the man to the point of the ear of the strength of the ear of the man? Or does it become so loud that it's heard by the ear? There's different reasons why we hear our own heartbeat. But what is important for the mankind, as we say, the soul of the man is the same as the star, the sun. And now that we have scientists and other people, they tell us that the sun has a heartbeat and the earth has a heartbeat, so has the soul of the man. Man never considered it. From today, he has to. Because that heartbeat, as I showed last time, if you remember, with the soul of the creator and the soul of the man leads to creation of the interaction of the souls, leads to the creation of the soul of the man. If you remember, when we showed the field of the, I cannot do this. When we said the creation of the soul of the creator and the creation of the soul of the man, the planet leads to the creation of the soul of the man, then we have to ask ourselves, in this process, as the physicality of the man was connected to the dimension of the matter state of the man, now the soul of the man through this dimension becomes connected to the soul of the universe. Very simple. The biggest riddle in the life of the creation of the man is solved. It's now for the man to find out. And I bet somebody's going to make a reactor and says this is the soul of our reactor. So if I can make this that, I can make the soul of the man to work. But is it the soul of the John or is it the soul of the Lucy? Because each one has a different strength, but in common denominator is connected to the soul of the universe. I have created such a clear-cut explanation for you lot that you have no room to misguide yourself, only unless you want to cheat yourself. I can do what I like and I can deny it, but now you understand, has been known by all. And then play any game you want to play. This is what I came here for. This is what I came, and this is, in a way, you look at a Good Friday, in a way is a gift to the soul of the Christ. Now you play any games you like. Doesn't change the fact we have done and we have delivered. This is not a judgment, this is a gift. This is for mankind to mature into and understand that his self-exile through lack of his understanding to be part of universal community is over. People in time will understand my teachings in a very, very short time. But till that time, some will mature into it and some still claim that there's something wrong. because this way they can still argue their position. Just to confirm their existence and nothing else. But they exist, they don't see it. They are loved, but they refuse the love of the Creator. That's their problem. I think we better call it a day today. If you understood today, you know, we used to do the energy blueprint day. This is the soul blueprint day, or universal blueprint day, or the peace blueprint day. Any color you want to stick to it is any color you like, but it doesn't change the fact and the reality. We have given man the freedom of the universe as of today. The day of judgment, not judgment, is between the soul of physicality of the man and the soul of the man. Now you play any tune you like. I'll build you all the factories on this planet, and I'll build you all the spaceships in the universe. But in fact, in reality, it's you who has to choose the shape of the ship, or the understanding of the truth about the ship. I can make it from banana boat to the boat of Noah and call it the spaceship. Which century do you belong to? Thank you very much for today. I hope mankind moves to the point of final maturity. I hope mankind finds peace between the soul of its physicality and the soul of itself, that through it, it becomes a shining star for those souls who carry the same strength and heartbeat as the man. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, once again for another teaching here of the Knowledge Seekers Workshop series. And this seems to be approaching, like you say, the culmination of these teachings in a way, with the Soul Blueprint Day concept. Okay, thanks very much to those who participated. There might be a couple of questions left. You can bring them over till next week's program. And we'll be here again next Thursday at 9 a.m. Central European Time for the 273rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And the other public teaching will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which will be on Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central European Time. Otherwise, it's shut down for vacation or for the spring break in the private teachings of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And there are some public teachings in languages that are still going on. You'll have to check with your language to find out about that. Okay, thank you everybody for today's 272nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 18th, 2019. And I believe we have Flint to take us out on a final video.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. Keshe Foundation keshe.org/donate. Plasma agriculture. A new method of farming and agriculture through the use of the new Keshe plasma science and technology. Farming. Virus processing protects the life of farm animals by processing away the energy packages called viruses. Increase in fishery and farming products. Create the optimal conditions for farming to thrive. Reduction in growth time. The plants grow faster and stronger. Reduction in harvesting time. The earlier maturity time for harvest allows farmers multiple harvests per season. Extension of the shelf life of agricultural products. Increase in grain protein content without interfering with seed genes. Environment. Reduction of chemical agriculture inputs. No more fertilizers or pesticides. Progressive reduction of land nitrites and chemical contaminants clean and restore the environment. Decontamination of agricultural water from poison and metals. Health through food. Reduction in the use of chemical fertilizers or antibiotics in farming practices. Food nutrients in the crops are kept without the use of genetic modification. Improved health for people and environment. Plasma culture. Using the Keshe plasma science and technology, the environment creates and provides to the plants exactly what and how much they need to prosper. Reduction in use of groundwater in agricultural systems. As the energy is absorbed from the environment, a plant does not need that much water to create its own food and energy to grow. Greater crop tolerance to temperature variation. The possibility to grow crops in any climate at any time of the year. Non-GMO. Use of the newly discovered natural state of matter known as GAN's plasma water. Allow the natural growth and development of agricultural products. Use of non-GMO agriculture process, proven through governmental tests. Financial security for farmers. Simplify the methods and processes requiring less effort from farmers. More than 30% increase in crop yields. Increase in income for farmers. Global change. Eliminate famine worldwide. Increase national and global food security. Contact us. Visit our website for the brochure in your language.
Plasma products found at keshefoundation.org/store. Soothing, reusable plasma eye and migraine mask. Eliminate eye fatigue and relieve stress in eye area. European certified medical device. Massaging plasma insoles. Bring comfort back to your feet and energize your legs. European CE certified medical device. Antiseptic plasma liquid hand soap. Promotes well-being and relaxation with protective plasma formula. CE certified. One Soul Plasma T-shirt. GAN's formula within the symbols and stripes brings mind, soul, and body into balance. European certified. Pain Relief Pen. Emits a concentrated plasma field at point of pain, efficient up to 3 centimeters below the skin. CE certified. The Magrav's Energizer and Alkalizer raises pH and energizes water through magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Pain Relief Pad, a result of years of research in nanoplasma technology with magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Visit the online store at keshefoundation.org/store or find a distributor near you. Tax and shipping not included.